welcome back to Speedrun Ragnarok 2023. My name is Code Indigo. I am joined by Phonis and Rakodactylus with Lemur on the couch for Legend of Mana Remastered, a game that's near and dear to my heart and to a lot of people, including Wind Bliss, who gave us a $10 donation. Time passing slowly. Legend of Mana is good. Take this for blessing. So we thank you for that. We are still running that donation incentive to save Dana. We've got a little bit more time to do that. So let's see some donations in for that for Take This. But you didn't come here for me blathering. Or if you did, I really hope that you enjoy that. But for right now, let's throw it over to our players and couch.
Phonis, would you like to go first?
Sure. My name is Anthony, aka Phonis. I've been speedrunning Legend of Mana since the end of 2020 and really took off once the remaster came out. This is one of our 3 any% categories that are single story. We're going to be doing the Faerie category today. And if anyone from CBS Casting is watching because I sent you here for my Survivor video, donate. We appreciate it.
And I'm Rakodactylus, or Rakodactylus. Either pronunciation is fine. Hi, chat. Hope you're all having a very wonderful morning. I stream games like Legend of Mana, and you may have seen me yesterday doing Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, and I'm really looking forward to this because Phonis is going to whoop my behind in this race badly, and it's going to be amazing. But also, Legend of Mana has one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time, and the remastered version is somehow even better, so you're in for a treat.
And I'm Lemur. I like to think I'm kind of decent at this game too, and I'm just looking forward to commentating this great race.
Lemur's the world record holder for everything, so...
We didn't let him play.
Yeah. It wouldn't be... Like, it's already unfair as is. It would be too unfair.
All right.
But yeah, I'm at the map screen, so...
Well, you guys want me to count you in?
The names are Bear and Chumpy, right? I'm naming my game.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and I took Chumpy.
Okay. So this game does have a giant world map. We're going to select the 6x6 grid. And I almost lost it. Every category of this game, we have a different map we go by, and I'm sure if you ask nicely, Lemur can explain a little bit as to why. But Lemur, I am ready.
Yeah, so am I.
All right, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So yeah, as Phonis was saying, there is a map system in the game that is the big part of the routing in Legend of Mana. So we pretty much have 3 any% categories, and they all kind of revolve around one of the 3 main storylines. So to beat Legend of Mana, you have to get 18 artifacts on the board and then complete one of those 3 main storylines. So there's the Dragon storyline, Faerie storyline, and the Jumi storyline. Today we're doing the Faerie storyline. So we're going to have to craft a map that lets us get through the Faerie storyline as quickly as possible. So that's where you're going to see a lot of the divergence between the single storyline categories. They all do something a little bit different. Dragon percent is the fastest, would be, I guess, the traditional any% category. Faerie percent is a little bit slower, but considered the most consistent and best for races. And then Jumi has probably more intricate routing and is a little bit longer overall. So once they kind of get through this cutscene, they're going to get their character set up, and they're going to get another artifact, and then they're going to start building their world map from that. So the main thing to keep in mind with the world map is it all spawns out from your home. So when you place down an artifact, it's going to be the distance from home and the number of artifacts you place before it that kind of dictate what the strength of that artifact is going to be. So that's a lot of what they have to craft their map around, is that they want dungeons to be low level, so they're going to try to place them early, and sooner, closer to home. And then in a couple instances, they're going to want certain towns to be further away from their home because towns have shops. And the higher level a town is, the better shop you can get. So runners are now just exiting their bed. They're going to throw on a couple of abilities. These will be what they use in combat. Then they're going to talk to the Sproutling and make their way out and place their first artifacts.
up the menu a little bit, but we're good.
Okay, this is the color blocks. We're going to place the artifact. And you're not going to see any cool animation anymore. One of the big things in Legend of Mana that people really liked from the original was it had these awesome artifact animations that played every time you got a new land. We discovered about a year ago that they're actually pretty easy to skip. If you hold down the L1 button, you can actually skip every single artifact animation in the game. So, yeah, about a year ago we found 4-minute plus time saves for every category.
Come on, Nick.
Yeah, making their way into Domina here. They're just going to kind of start running around and collecting a couple artifacts. So there's, Legend of Mana is open world, so there's a lot of branching points. Here, they give you 2 branching points. You can either do this, what they're doing right now, talk to El Azul and get the Jade Egg, which will start you down the Jumi storyline. Or you can go follow Nicolo up into the marketplace and then kind of start a side quest instead. We're going to kind of do both. We're going to start this event with El Azul just to get the Jade Egg. We really need to get artifacts down on the map, and the Jade Egg is just a really fast one to get. This might be the fastest artifact in the game. And then we're going to go up to Nicolo here, talk to him, get another artifact, and ditch El Azul.
Definitely the fastest artifact other than the mailbox.
True. Besides the one you start with, I'd say it's the fastest. But that in color blocks, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, 3rd fastest artifact.
Ooh, is that a fast sparkle?
Oh, yeah. Little thing here, if you mash really, really well, there's a certain frame you can hit that slightly speeds up El Azul's animation when he asks to rejoin your team. Yeah, just saves you about a second, and there's no real consistent way to do it besides mash as quickly as you can and hope you get it.
And one thing you'll see us do throughout the whole thing is you'll see us be moving our characters in kind of a strange way. This actually saves a little bit of a frame in animation if you aren't just moving in a direction. If you're actually wiggling back and forth in a little bit of a range, it saves a little bit of the walking animation, which is kind of peculiar to think about. So if you see us like moving erratically, we're trying to save frames here.
It's intentional.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nervous, but I'm not that nervous.
By switching your character back and forth on 2 diagonals, you kind of like restart the beginning of your walking or running animation over and over again. And that is a little bit faster than running normally. So when they're making their way through the highway here, try to pay attention as they're just running straight, and you'll kind of see their characters, kind of go back and forth, and it'll look like their feet's just not touching the ground sometimes. That's them doing a wiggle run and performing the animation correctly. But coming into the highway, we're going to get our first taste of combat. So spin attack's going to be the name of the game for the highway. This is one of the abilities they put right at the beginning of the run. And by using spin and then hitting the power attack button, you can do the spin attack. Now, it's a pretty weak ability, but it has the upside of being one of the few abilities that can hit multiple enemies at the same time. Now, I know this looks like they're just kind of standing there and spinning, but there is a lot of finesse to this positioning. If they get too close, you're going to start seeing stars appear above the enemies' heads. That means they're dizzying the enemy. If they dizzy enemies 5 times, they will then stun themselves and lose about 2 to 3 seconds in dagger. So, and that's 2 to 3 or 5 hits on enemies. So if they're dizzying 2 enemies, then, it'll only take 3 spins for them to get themselves dizzy. If they dizzy 3 enemies, then it's only going to take 2 spins for them to get themselves staggered. So
I immediately dizzied myself on the first one.
Sorry, I cursed you.
Sorry, Arf, I'm just trying not to talk over our commentary.
I'm getting real lucky with the item drops too. 2 clear feathers.
Yeah, I forgot I needed to. I've not paid attention.
Items and cash are a good thing for runners to pick up here. Later on, we're going to have to do some weapon buys, and to get money for the weapon buys, we need to have items to sell. And also, at the end of this quest, Nicolo likes to take all of your money, and that usually involves a few extra text boxes. So if we can get enough money to satisfy the greedy rabbit, then we will save a few seconds on not seeing those text boxes. But now the runners are about to enter the boss fight. If you've played Secret of Mana or other Mana games, you will know him very well as the Mantis Ant. and we're here to smack them up. So this is where we can get into another piece of combat tech in the game called power canceling. So what you're going to see the runners do is use a heavy attack, and then instead of going into a stagger after that attack from ending lag, you're going to hear a little thump. That thump is them using a trigger button to cancel the ending lag of that heavy attack. So heavy attacks do 2 times the damage of a normal attack. Ooh, great fight from Racco.
That's the best Mantis Ant fight I've
Yeah,
ever
that
had.
was really, really good. 49 Phonis, he did get an ST. It can be hard to get a 0 ST fight on the Mantis Ant here because you just don't have a lot of power.
I really wanted the synchro though, because I think I picked up enough money since I didn't get items. But then Nick ended up on the other side of the map, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, unfortunate thing about Legend of Mana is that sometimes NPCs can take up more time in cutscenes because they're too far away.
Poverty skip? Let's go.
Nice, that's what we're looking for. So Phonis got the cash there to get the poverty skip and save a few text boxes, saving him 2 or 3 seconds, something like that.
Yes, but I probably lost more time because I took the ST and everything, but it's still fun to do. Alright, we're going to place a couple artifacts and then do a very dialogue heavy event.
I'm gonna not hold L1 for this, just so that the chat can see how long these animations are for the artifacts and what we're skipping every time. Also, the one for Flame is kind of nice.
That's letting me catch up.
I think you're ahead of me. So, or we're close enough, but yeah. But yeah, doing that 18 plus times over the course of a run, depending on which category you're in, really does add up. So it was a huge time save that was discovered.
Yeah, I think it's like 3.5 to 5.5 minutes, depending on the category, something like that. Kind of huge.
Close to 6 on the all events and platinum %, doesn't it?
Maybe. It's up there.
Yeah. It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So yeah, and Gato here, just a lot of walking around, talking around. This is probably one of speedrunners' least favorite sections in the game,
100%.
just because it's 9 minutes straight of kind of running back and forth. We have to do it in every category except one, and it is early in every category too. So there's no real way around this, and you pretty much have to do it every time you're trying to do a run. But it's a good place to look at the wiggle running of the runners, because there's a lot of tight little corridors going back and forth, and it's probably a good area that you can spot, like in sections where they aren't wiggle running, and you can kind of see the difference in speed that comes from that.
Yeah, the movement tech in this map is everything, because there's a lot of little ledges you'll catch yourself on, a lot of entryways you might accidentally go back through, stuff like that, which is all bad.
And because this isn't a very like action heavy event, if the host has any donations they want to read or anything else, now would be a good time to do that.
We are still looking for some donations here to save Dana. We are still about $50 away from that, so we definitely want that to happen. And of course, remember that all the donations go to take this, and we greatly appreciate all donations that we receive.
I went the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
I started thinking about the shop, and I wanted to be in the shop.
It's surprising how much that happens.
Very frequently.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is technically a Jumi event, so like what's happening in the grand scheme of this speedrun isn't going to matter. But if you want to enlighten people, Lemur, while we mash.
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned before, the 3 different storylines, and how in Domina we kind of had the chance to go with Elazul and kind of start doing one of the Jumi events. This is another one of the early Jumi events. They're talking about the Jewel Hunter being around, and she's looking to steal the Flame of Hope, and they're trying to figure out what exactly the Flame of Hope is. So this is kind of just an intro quest to everything that's going on there. The quest in Domina kind of introduces you to the main characters of the Jumi storyline, and then this one introduces you to like the antagonist and more of the overall plot that's going on. But yeah, it doesn't really pertain much to the Faerie storyline. As far as the speedrun goes, something in Legend of Mana we have to deal with a lot of the time is that a lot of areas have intro quests. So it's either right as you enter an area or very soon after talking to an NPC, it'll start an intro quest. And as long as that quest has not been completed, the game doesn't want you to place anything next to the land. Well, for towns it lets you, but for dungeons it won't let you place anything next to the land. And it typically doesn't let any other quest trigger in that area either. We have a couple workarounds to this, and there's a couple times you can stack quests on top of each other. Flame of Hope is not one of those times, unfortunately. So mainly we're trying to get this quest clear because Gato is going to become a big hub for the Faerie storyline later on, and we need it open if we want to do any of those quests.
And if you are interested in more of the Jumi storyline, there's an anime that came out last year about it, and it's okay. Or you can watch our Jumi speedruns, which are closer to 2 hours.
And also okay.
And also okay. No, I really like the Jumi speedruns, honestly. It's just a lot more dialogue, but it's a solid run. I like it a lot.
Jumi speedruns are definitely really fun to play and watch. You get a little bit more of the story-heavy side of things if you can read quickly. And then also you can kind of dive more into intricate routing. There's a lot more like triggers you got to figure out. What day it is matters for a couple of quests. So
Yeah.
a lot of cool stuff that you can do in Jumi % that you don't really do in the other categories so much.
It's really interesting. The only problem is that your world record has a 3-minute RNG time skip.
Yeah, so there is a big RNG save at the end of the Jumi storyline that, what is it, like 3% chance, something like that?
It's
it
like 2.5.
happens? Yeah.
So actually, something that Lemur said is worth unpacking a bit. So he said that like the day matters. That's one of many mechanics in this game that aren't like explained in a super clear, explicit way throughout. This game it has a lot of mechanics that you just sort of figure out as you go, whereas they're not necessarily like necessary to accomplish like 100%ing the game or completing the game. But there's so much to explore, there's so much to do, that if you are confused by like the mana levels on the land or anything like that, well, don't worry about it in your casual play. It's not going to matter too much. But if you do want to speedrun, that's where you have to really attend to a lot of very peculiar mechanics. And yeah, I think I did well in the shop there.
I have never had that much money going into that shop. I started the shop with 60 loot here. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, because you got the Nicola Poverty skip, right?
I was rich.
And it helps, yeah.
I didn't equip the sword.
Oh. Well,
job.
I equipped the fend.
I'm still getting an alright fight.
Yeah, no, the fight's fine. I've had worse fights with the sword, so it's okay. I'll equip it here in a second. Oops, did it equip? Yeah. Man, I hate So you can get through like half of the equip menu and it equips your weapon. And I exited early and I wasn't sure, so I went back in to check it and it was equipped, and then I started hitting weird buttons.
Yeah, there's like the equip sign, and then there's the confirmed sign, and you can cancel out one of them and be okay, but if you cancel out the other, then it just auto unequips.
You don't have to confirm it for some reason, and that trips me up. Anyway, we're wrapping up the Flame of Hope.
Yeah, finally finished the 8-9 minute walk around, talk around. You saw the runners went into the shop and bought an iron weapon. That was the big reason why they, needed to collect items during the highway split. If you don't have enough items, you might have to stop and unequip your current hammer and armor to get that weapon by. But luckily that's normally not the case, as it only costs about 200. So runners give themselves a little bit of a damage buff here, because we're going to go into another dungeon. You're placing down the ancient tablet and to enter the Mindaz ruins. So kind of keeping in line with what we were doing in Gato, we have to do the intro quest to unlock this area for later. The intro quest is the Tea Time of Danger. We have to go save Tipo the Teapot, who was involved with the Nicolo event. We kind of saw, we took Nicolo to him, and then we got the wheel to get the highway placed down. So now we're going to kind of do a little bit more of his quest line. So you'll see kind of a mix of strats here in fights. Sometimes you'll see spin setups, other times you'll see power cancels being used. There's a couple good spin setups you can do, but can also get a little tricky. These I Spies like to get a little close, but runners seem to be handling it pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely had to adjust to my I Spy positioning there. I just knocked the Lullabud out of the way, and then I went back to spinning.
Alright,
Now
so
we get to
both
do
runners.
puzzles.
Yep, now we get to do the gate puzzles. So I know this was an area that caused me a lot of frustration when I was younger, and I've heard similar stories from other people.
100%.
These gate puzzles don't really make a lot of sense the first few times you do it. Essentially, you go and talk to those 3 flowerlings, and then they control the gate. So you talk to one flowerling, and the way he moves will move the gate. Once you wrap your head around it, it makes a little bit more sense, but first time through, a lot of people get stuck here. Luckily, though, we already know the solution, so runners can just kind of speed through it. Other times, though, you'll see what's happening to Racco right now, where the flowerling in between the gates kind of blocks you up a little bit.
Oh, no.
That is the
happens.
big issue that happens here. These flowerlings are the bane of speedrunners.
That's
Yeah,
our,
right in those.
our actor positioning RNG. They like to
We
get in
did
your
get
way.
we
You're
did get a $30 donation, anonymous, to help save Dana. We are so much closer to saving her, and we greatly appreciate that. We're also close to $4,000, so let's make that happen during Legend of Mana.
Nice, let's go.
Love that.
Yeah, so
But we don't
the
have to
save
save that, so.
the save Dana incentive is there is a choice point later in the game where we are picking which side essentially to align with in a fight, and we have to kill the other side. So Dana is a very cute cat girl, so it's basically save Dana or we have to kill Dana. So do you want us to kill the cat girl?
As I'm sure is notorious.
Absolutely not.
I'm sure we're all used to going fast in games means being evil, right? Now I think for the first time I got a level up on the single crystal from a chest knight.
That's always the best.
So whenever you get a level up in a fight, if it happens during the end of collecting your experience crystals, you just lose time because it won't finish the fight until a delay occurs.
Yeah, that is one of the big parts about combat, besides the actual combat, is optimizing your EXP and item pickup. So, the fight won't end until the EXP is either picked up or has disappeared. So a lot of times you'll see the runners, if an item or EXP is really far away, they kind of have to make a split-second decision on do they go and pick that up, or is it faster to get to the end of the screen and just let that disappear. And then yes, as Phonis said, sometimes you can get that unfortunate level up where you go to pick up that last crystal and all of a sudden the level up pops and then you lose another 3 to 4 seconds. So both runners are now entering the boss room to fight Davila. So here's where you should see a lot of power canceling going on. You can get a pretty good stun or stagger on this boss if you just keep good power cancel timing. She can still get away, so you do have to adjust a little bit, but you just want to see runners keep hitting that power cancel over and over again.
Anytime you see the green and blue lines coming out of her, she's starting to cast a spell, and in the remaster, specifically, the spells will give you a little bit of lag, which can mess up your power cancel timing quite a bit. But we got through it. She did punch me in the face 3 times.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about that. Her attack is a little bit quicker than yours, so she gets it out early enough. We're kind of seeing the troll side of Davila from Racco, where she likes to just run away sometimes, and when she does that, it's very annoying to follow her up.
Have done 4 artifacts, so let's make sure he is right.
Yeah, this fight is one I'm not really good at in this route. So that was mostly incompetence with on my part, but then yeah, she was a little trolly.
Still got through the fight. Sometimes that one can just go a little bit sideways.
Honk, 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 honk. All right, we're making another shopping trip.
Yeah, so you saw right there, Phonis, and you're about to see Racco do it. He dumped a bunch of artifacts down. So we were kind of talking about, land levels before and how you want dungeons to be lower levels and some shops to be higher levels. So by placing these 3 artifacts before we place the town down, Popolta Harbor, we are upping the land level of what the harbor will be. So this is just enough to get our town to a high enough level that it will give us tier 4 weapons. So this is where we see a pretty significant increase in power. I think we go from, was it like 16 power to 25 or something like that, which is
I don't
pretty big
remember what
jump.
the iron sword was, but yeah, it goes up by like 10. So yeah, it's nice. It's
And Polpata has my favorite
66%
track in
increase.
the game.
Popolta?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice music. It's a shame we don't get to stay
Not there
here
very
longer.
long. Definitely visited a lot more in other categories. We're gonna meet some very fun characters. I love me some Skippy and Hamson.
Yep, so both runners are now entering into the jungle. We placed this very early, before we even placed the Gato. So, that was part of the route, getting this area a little bit lower level, and then, we set ourselves up for a tier 4 shop to get the Laurent sword. And now we're going to kind of blast through the jungle with a pretty strong weapon. Again, got to do the opening quest here. We actually have everything set up to trigger the Faerie quest here, except we haven't completed the intro quest. So, like I kind of mentioned for, Gato and for Tea Time, that those quests, lock you out of doing anything else. That's the same thing here in the jungle with Hunt and Decay. So as soon as we clear this, we'll be able to start the Faerie storyline. The jungle is another place that I know a lot of people got lost on their casual playthroughs or first time going through this game. Very much looks the same, and you have to find this one kind of hidden pathway to get the spell cast on you, which Racco is doing right now, to actually let you proceed through the jungle. Otherwise, it'll just keep looping you around.
Yep, and in this event, we're helping these two get a Ducate tail to help pay off some of their large debt to a character we will not see. What do they owe? Like $1 billion, Lucre?
It's something like 100 million billion lucre to
And this Ducate tail gets rid of like 5,000.
It's something like that. It's I don't know. Only I think it was only 500.
It's
Pretty low.
it's a scam. They're trapped. They're stuck in debt. Am I glitching again?
One of the things we have to do that makes this quest a little annoying is we do have to talk to Skippy, the rabbit, in a few places, and he can sometimes walk into loading zones and mess things up for you a bit.
I reset my capture. It should be better. Thanks, Arf.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with my capture today, but if it messes up, I'll just take a second to reset the capture. I apologize.
Phonis is now getting into one of the most annoying fights in the game. These two zombies and Tomato Men really love to mess you up, stagger you, flatten you. And there's no real good spin setup on them, and they all have a decent amount of health too, so this is one you really see runners improvise on a lot.
I hate that fight.
It's the worst
Everyone
one.
hates that fight. That is in contention for worst fight in the game.
The
This
worst
category has some-
non-boss fight, I'll say that, because, you know, we've got Spriggan.
Yeah. So while this category we say is the most consistent and even, I guess maybe the easier one to learn or deal with because there's no RNG, it does have its share of annoying fights. So the ceiling for this category is quite high, but it's a really easy entry point.
Yeah, I think something you can find with a Faerie percent is that the normal encounters find many ways to mess you up and slow you down. We have a number of strats for boss fights, but some of the normal encounters, if they go slightly wrong, can just take a turn for the worse.
Focus on power canceling, duplicate.
Yep, gonna see same thing you were seeing with Davula, just I'm just gonna focus on those power cancels, and boom, that was a nice fight.
Thank you. And that's also a fun thing about the Faerie category, as far as like showcasing and racing, is I know you just saw the same strategy happen twice on bosses, but we utilize most of our strategies on boss fights during this category at some point or another.
Yeah. There's a lot of versatility in this category. You're seeing a lot of spin attacks. You'll also see a lot of power cancels, and eventually we'll get into jump cancels. Actually, a little bit after this fight.
Jump canceled Nancy Sam. I did anyway.
Oh, that's right. You have jump there.
Yeah. This isn't Jumi.
Yeah. But I guess we'll kind of explain it now while getting into the next section of the jungle here. You're going to see Phonis equip jump back on, and then that's going to give him access to jump cancels. So kind of similar to power cancels, if you hit jump after using a power attack, it will cancel the ending lag of your power attack. But in addition to canceling that lag, it'll immediately put you into an uppercut attack as well. So it's a really quick way to get out two really fast attacks, one after the other. The uppercut does knock enemies away, so it is a little bit, you got to choose which one you use over, power attack or power cancel and jump cancel. Do you want the enemy to stay close to you and maybe do a little bit less DPS, or do you need to knock the enemy away and, get the DPS out really quickly?
And there's the minor time factor. If you kill an enemy with the jump attack that knocks them back, they won't drop their loot until they land on the ground again.
Yeah, right.
Very, very minor thing, but it adds up if you do it a lot.
That's definitely most efficient at if you know you can kill an enemy with a normal or power attack to kill them with that attack. But it could also be if you have multiple enemies on the screen, you can kill one enemy with the uppercut, swing of the attack, knock them away, and then when you go to kill the other enemy, you kind of ignore the little time loss that you would have from killing that enemy normally.
Definitely. All right, so we are finally doing a Faerie event.
Yep. So
I just started it.
Murmuring Forest. This is the first real Faerie event of the game. Runners just had to kind of go through, get themselves spelled up again so they won't get lost, and then they can go trigger this event. One of the more hidden ones, a lot of people don't get on the Faerie storyline because it's a little bit odd how you find it. You just kind of gotta go into the jungle and then talk to the two penguins, and there's no real indicator to do it, but once you do, then it starts to become a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, a lot of the characters are around, but they're not the ones that actually start you on the Faerie storyline. And as we start the Faerie storyline, Esked kills a bunch of fairies.
Yeah, so they don't really go too in depth on the story here. You just kind of get the basic setup that the fairies are in the jungle, and Esked doesn't like that, and so he's gonna kill them. But also, they were beating up one of the nuns that we saw in Gato, so we know there's something going on there between those two factions.
We like seeing item bags. Getting a lot of those. Don't need items anymore, but it's faster to pick up than experience. And levels don't really matter in the grand scheme of things in this game. They might reduce a hit on some enemies near the end of the run.
Yeah, there's a couple of micro spots where it's, you know, you can see that you're a little level lower than you were before, but for the most part, the damage comes from your weapon in this game.
Yeah, this guy's too close to me. Punk Masters.
Yeah, very unfortunate thing was happening with Phonis there. For some reason, if you're directly on top of Punkmaster, he just likes to cancel your inputs. I don't believe any other boss in the game really does that, but he does it, so...
Yeah, that was rough. Okay.
Very annoying thing. Luckily, he didn't knock you away, though. Typically, if that happens, he will spin and stun you and be annoying, but... As unfortunate as that fight was, it could have been a lot worse.
And that is far from one of the annoying bosses.
Yeah.
So that's coming up next.
Oh, yeah. Let's now enter the Gale Grottos and continue the Faerie storyline again. So, you know, we had to go through, clear out these areas, clear the jungle, clear Gato, clear the ruins. Now we're going to kind of start making our way back and, you know, do some of the Faerie events that we can now unlock in these areas.
There's Dana. We want to save her. Make sure you donate. I'd hate to kill her.
Yep,
Even
we
though
are
killing her
still
saves...
just... Sorry?
No, killing her saves like 2.5 minutes or something, but we want her to live.
We are $26 away from keeping her alive. 26 or 27. As soon as we get that, she is safe.
We got about...
On the plus side, saving Dana also means killing Escad, and Escad's a jerk, so come on, guys, let's do it.
Yeah, but we don't see him die. We beat him up, but he lives, he survives that fight. He just hides in the jungle for a little while. We do have like
he goes
20...
to a farm upstate.
We have probably a little less than half an hour before we need to know if we're saving or killing Dana. About 26 minutes-ish.
So we're not going to see it in this run, but there is a map called the Underworld, and one of the neat things about this game is when characters die, they actually do just go to the Underworld, and you can still visit them, or at least most of them do, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms in the Underworld where there's a lot of extra dialogue you can get from dead characters.
I know it's a big thing for the Jumi storyline. You see a few character deaths there, and if you go visit the Underworld, you can... Well, you can't talk to them, but you can listen to them in the Underworld.
Alright, I'm going to hopefully get a good boss fight.
Yep, so this is one of the worst boss fights in the Faerie storyline. People would debate it. I'd probably say it's one of the toughest ones.
I'd say this is maybe the worst boss fight in the game.
I'd say Aggravator if we're talking about just...
Other than Aggravator, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, I go Aggravator, Spriggan, Tiamat.
Oh yeah, Tiamat just because of his hitbox, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiamat's hitbox is awful. But for Faerie storyline, at least, Spriggan is the worst.
Yeah, so on a lot of bosses, we have pretty, you know, clear-cut strategies. I would do a bunch of power cancels, and you can get a good stun chain going. For Spriggan, we don't really have that, even if we're doing jump cancels all the time, which normally staggers an enemy up a lot. He can still just instantly ST like he's doing now to Phonis. He can summon that skeleton, which means he can up your dizzy counter if you try to spin. Power cancels get damage done, but they give him more time to like evade or do another ST. So it's really just a...
I never equipped a sword ST.
Oh no.
So I'm making this harder.
Yeah, that is something unfortunate that just happened on Phonis' side. Not having an ST for this fight is a little rough because when a boss STs, you want to be able to use your own ST in response because that allows you to be invulnerable during the boss's attack, and then also you can either stun the boss or do a lot of damage to them when they come out of their special attack. But still, despite that not having an ST, that was a pretty solid fight. I mean, 2 STs, that's nothing, nothing to shake your head
2
at.
skeletons. 2 of 8s, I think it was like 2, 2, 2. Are there any other bosses I want the sword ST for? I don't think I care anymore.
Depends on your confidence in Boreal Hound, but I'll leave that one up to you.
I'm very confident in Boreal Hound.
Okay.
This is going to be the time I butcher my Boreal Hound fight. But, you know, I like to say I always 0 ST Boreal Hound. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother equipping it. I'm good. And if I'm not, you'll watch me die later. And that'll be fun.
Ooh, I just got stunned.
So, status effects are awful in this game. Yeah, the best way to deal with them is to avoid them.
Very, very uncooperative Spring on Racco's side. Going for the ST. And good, Racco gets it.
Nice. The good news is our sword ST also has a stun, so if we do land it on Spriggan or a boss, it really opens up some time for us to just wail on them. Which is why I didn't even try to use it, I just realized I never equipped it and I was just upset with myself. Come on. I'll get candy.
I see the evades on Racco's side. That's one of the annoying things Spriggan can do, just evade and teleport to another side of the screen. So you really want to get him in a corner so you can just, jump cancel him to death, but sometimes he just keeps evading and then you get in a really bad position. And there he goes down.
Relatively typical for me. he's not a good boss.
No, you had a pretty unfortunate Spriggan there. He was doing a lot of stuff to troll you that fight.
I really like the music at the lake.
Yeah, the area I'm going to next, since I think the audio is coming through mine, has another incredibly good track. The soundtrack for Legend of Mana is composed by Yoko Shimomura, who a lot of you may know from other games like Super Mario RPG and Parasite Eve, and I think Kingdom Hearts. I think that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts. I believe she was also involved in Street Fighter.
Oh. I did
Cool.
not know Street Fighter. The more you know.
But yeah, just one of those legendary composers in the video game world, and the Lake Kilma music is really good. And we'll hear it again in the junkyard later on too.
Alright, so the Gorgon's Eye event, we are following the pirates to help them cure their petrified comrades. And in this little scene that I'm dealing with right now, the pirates are trying to get their captain to be a little more harsh with them. He's too nice. Too nice for a captain. And it's just going to lead us down to the lakefront property where we'll find a giant boss.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah, and along the way we did help a turtle. He is one of the wisdoms. I learned Maelstrom and it auto-equipped it? What? I never equipped Maelstrom, but I definitely just used it. As I realized there was a fight I wanted it on. Is that a thing? This
Maybe
game
the game's helping you out with that one.
Is that a thing?
Did we just save a menu?
I don't know. I just messed up
That's
that gray
very
ox
odd.
though. And it was not on the button I normally hit for Maelstrom. So the fact that I hit that button was just destiny. Okay, I don't know. I have Maelstrom on. That's all that matters. I realize now that I did need an ST. It was that one.
Yeah.
I forgot about
I
normal
didn't think
fights.
about it until you just mentioned it, but yeah, we do need Maelstrom at a couple of spots.
Alright,
At the
so
end of the
what
world did not have it, but it's a
so
little
what button
slower.
do you guys use for your power cancels?
L1?
L1. Use L2.
I was using L1 until recently. Now I'm using L2.
Okay.
I found after the struggles I was having with the Davula fight when I was practicing this that for whatever reason I'm slightly more effective at it doing L2.
I use L2. That's because I like to use L1 and R1 for my STs. I do my
R1 and
single
R2
target
on
STs
STs.
on the left, and I do my AoE STs on the right, and it just helps my brain function. This boss has a very different strategy that we have not seen before.
Yeah, so you've been seeing a lot of power cancels, you've been seeing a lot of jump cancels, and you've been seeing a lot of spin attacks, but you haven't really seen normal attacks that much, which is just what happens when you hit the X button. It's the basic move. It can cause a little combo that can make you go into lag, and we're going to use that actually to dismantle the Gorgonite. So there's actually a stun lock we can do with normal attack on the sword. By doing either single or double taps of this normal attack, we can start the little combo that goes on when you do normal attack. So normally you hit the button 3 to 4 times, your character does a little combo and then strikes a pose. But instead, we're just going to do 1 to 2 taps, and then we're going to be able to keep resetting that combo over and over and over again, stunning up the Gorgonite and keeping them in place right here. By doing this enough times, we get a stun on the Gorgonite, actually, and then we can go into power cancels and then get a lot of damage off. So it was a little scary for Phonis there at the beginning, but now looks like he's got the Gorgonite in place, gets a stun through, and that was a good fight.
Yeah, that was a weird start, but the rest of it was good. He heard us. The Gorgonite heard us talking, and didn't want us to get away with what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So, this time I'm going to move in twice as far as I ever do.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know if he ever just instantly pushes me back, but we got it. Yeah, I stun locked him pretty well after I adjusted to what he did. So as much as we have strategies for things, you definitely got to adjust to what is happening. I'm gonna do a quick event with no combat, so watch Reiko fight that boss.
And yeah, if there are any donations or anything that you'd like to read, feel free.
We are still $26, $27 away from saving Dana, so please, time runs short on that. We are also looking for donations for the My Time at Porsche. We're looking at the name and workshop names. Still looking, I mean, they're all tied at 0, so I'm sure we can do better. We also have Shovel Knight incentives and Hello Kitty Roller Rescue, which we definitely want to see some action on that one. So give us some donations when you can. Donate responsibly, of course, but if you do have the ability to do so, we would greatly appreciate it. Let's save some Cat Girl.
And if they
I got
donate,
about
are they entered into a raffle for some prizes? Is that a
I
thing?
believe they are. I am not sure what those prizes are. I will get back to you on that.
Long story
It's
short,
about,
donate.
20 minutes before we have to decide on saving or letting Dana die, so pretty short window now to get that one in.
I'd hate to see her die. I'm collecting green ball buns with Niccolo.
That was a good Gorgonite fight by Racco.
Nice job.
Couldn't get my power cancels in at the right time, though. That was a thing. But other than that, yeah, that was alright.
Yeah, that finishes up the Gorgonite quest for both the runners. Again, this unlocks Lake Kilma. It was another one of those intro quests we needed to get done, so now a little bit later, actually not too much longer, we'll be going right back in and starting a Faerie quest. Well, actually, Phonis already started the Faerie quest in Gato, but now he's going to go and finish it in Lake Kilma.
Technically, yeah. Unfortunately, though, our first visit to Lake Kilma does feature fairies, so at least it's kind of relevant.
So Phonis is gonna make his way back through the lake, same way as he went before. We didn't really talk about the normal fights in the lake too much, so this is definitely one of the areas that I'd say is a little spike in difficulty compared to some of the other areas in the game. The normal fights are a little bit beefier, and they all have pretty specific spin setups to do to execute them optimally. So seeing a runner blaze through this area is quite a treat.
Yep, and one of the biggest routing factors in this category was about making sure we do the least amount of movement in between artifacts, and additionally make enemies, such as these beefier ones, as weak as possible. Which Arflanair is one of the viewers and has been giving some more detail about the run. Was a major factor in us getting some more optimal routes this year. I can confidently say every single one of our routes has been optimized thoroughly this year, and we've gotten new records on every category this year. So this game's still developing, even though it is a remaster of a game that's been around for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been cool to see the routes change, so much throughout the time since I've been playing. And yeah, Arf is pretty much a wizard when it comes to these maps. He found ways to make everything fit just perfectly.
Yeah, the difficulty in routing is compounded with some of these mechanics of the game that we haven't talked about too much, like land levels and mana levels that affect like the strength of the enemies. Like, we've talked around it by talking about artifact placement, but like the amount of effort that has been put into routing this is a monumental aid to the runners, and we love it. So we would love to have more people join the community and run this game and help with routing and discover new tricks and glitches and skips and everything. So
And a way to skip Flame of Hope.
yeah, so if you are interested in an action RPG speedrun that you want to get involved in, this is a good one to do.
I would honestly say that this might be one of the best role-playing games to start with if you wanted to speedrun role-playing games. Just because the categories are relatively short. I think it's pretty... the ease of access is there, because now, especially with the remaster, now that's available on so many different platforms. And our community is very open to help, and I have developed and published very beginner-friendly guides for every category, so I think anyone could really jump in and at least do a run if they wanted to.
Yeah, the tech in the run isn't super difficult to pull off either, it's all stuff that I think most people can pick up in, a few hours of playing, so there's really easy to get into the speed run. But there's also, a high ceiling for the game too, so it's easy to start but very difficult to master. So there's a lot of improvement you can do kind of throughout the game or throughout your running.
Yeah, definitely hard to master. Yeah, ease of access as far as entry goes, but if you wanna compete with the lemur, just don't.
We inch closer to saving Dana with a $10 donation from Kura Salash with the comment, please pet all cat girls with consent.
Thank you very much. So you don't need like what, $15, something like that?
17.
$17.
Almost there.
We are running out of time. We got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10-15 minutes.
Before
Probably a little bit less.
Before I need to know. All right, we are getting. I'm about to do another one of the quote-unquote hardest bosses in Faerie. If I mess up getting into this boss's blind spot, I'll probably get ruined. But we'll see.
This is either going to be the easiest or hardest boss in the run. We will see here in just a moment.
So in the chat, somebody asked about wolf girls. This game does have wolf girls too, in the dragon storyline. Or I guess dog girl. Sierra's more of a dog girl, right?
Yeah. I did not get it. Mother trucker.
Unfortunate.
And I didn't use Maelstrom, and now I'm stunned. And now this boss is horrible. Remember when I talked up a big game about this boss? I haven't seen this dog use a special technique on me in like, I don't even know, months. And I got stunned again.
So, what Phonis was going for there is some bosses have something called blind spot, if you can find just the perfect spot to stand in relation to the boss, then they will just keep repeating the same action over and over again. And
right
this
here.
lets you, yep, Phonis got it now. This is the blind spot. So the Boreal Hound is just going to keep trying to do this little jump over and over again. And because of the timing of the animation, Phonis can just keep power canceling and take the Hound down just like that.
Just had to get paralyzed twice first. I had to show you what could go wrong before I could show you how it's supposed to go. Naturally. Yeah, Sierra is a dog girl, and the horn is part of her outfit. I'm pretty sure Lark doesn't actually, like, his tail is also part of his armor and not his tail. Even though it moves like it's his tail. Canonic. But,
Oh, that's weird. I never thought of it like that.
It's
Oh, I just thought his
it's
tail was
weird.
armored.
No, I swear I read somewhere that it is armor, but it's not his tail. Resetting my capture again while I match to this scene because I see it stuttering. I apologize for the no signal. I'm mashing dialogue. I do not know what's going on with my capture today, but I'm monitoring it the best I can. Yeah, they have dragon-like armor, but it's not necessarily his tail. And Sierra doesn't have a horn. Anyway, that's Dragon storyline. I'm not talking to them. What am I doing now? Going to the mines?
Yeah.
Okay, going to the mines. Good luck on Boreal Hound.
I'll need it. Since I started rerunning this game, I haven't had a good Boreal Hound fight, so this will be interesting. Also, this is the worst change in the remake. The Boreal Hound in the background in the original PS1 version does an awoo. In the remake, he does not.
Ooh.
I'm having a very hyperactive doggo.
He's doing pretty jumpy on you.
Yeah, at least mine didn't jump around after he stunned me. He had the opportunity to. Right? Somehow I didn't spin all 3 molds.
Titan Bambi? Oh, nice. Hit him right before he jumped away.
That was surprisingly
There
the
you go.
best Boreal Hound I've had since I started rerunning this game.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Oh yeah. Good job.
Only one ST.
Be a little annoying when he starts jumping around like that and you can't really get him locked down, but I think you responded to it alright.
Ooh, I stunned myself. On slime. Low-key, one of the scariest normal fights in the game is that Spectre.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can get Frosted.
Yeah, you rarely see an issue with it, but he can turn you into a snowman, and it's not good.
He's one of the few normal fights that'll try to cast magic on you occasionally. And the hopped ticks that are with him, if they start knocking you around, they can keep you stunned up so he hits you with that magic, and then, yeah, you get snowmanned after that, and it's not a fun time.
Alright. About 5 more minutes, 6 more minutes-ish. Dana, well, we gotta save her. I can just stop playing for a minute if it gives you a little bit more time to get that donation in. But we gotta know soon, so I would get it in now.
Yeah, he's got this boss fight and then a very short little quest after that, and then we gotta know.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
this boss
we are
fight's not
running
that
out of
nice.
time.
Also, this
So
quest
Phonis
has
is
one
now
of my
fighting-
favorite NPCs, Watts. He's just super adorable.
Oh, Watts.
Yeah, Watts is great.
And his great helm.
I think there's a version of Watts in every single Mana game, right?
I think so.
At least the early ones, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played any of the Mana games after Legend of Mana, so I don't know. But in Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana, definitely.
I got a redhead kill.
Nice.
Redhead kill. Red hand kill.
So yeah, Phonis is fighting Lebane. One of the more unique bosses in the game is that it spawns 2 different hands, and you deal damage to it in batches based off the hands. So you gotta kill a hand, then it deals a set amount of damage to the boss's overall health bar. The blue one's pretty easy to deal with, but the red one likes to do suicide attacks. So
Didn't get the red hand kill that mattered. The last one.
the last one, yeah. If
So I had to wait for it to kill itself.
Yeah, if the red hand does its suicide attack early on, then it's, you know, not that bad. You don't lose that much time on it. But if it does it super late, then you lose time just kind of waiting for it to die. So, kind of saw Phonis did it once there, and he was trying to do it the other times, where you do a really quick combo to kill it before it even goes into that attack, just so you can get the fastest kill possible. But it's kind of tough. Yeah, it's very tight, and sometimes even if you execute it perfectly, the red hand can still just nope out of it and go into his ST.
Yep. And if we get hit by that self-destruct, we'll be nearly dead.
Oh, yeah, chunky.
So if you get hit by a second thing, it's bad. That's why we try to get away from it or push it away. Or yeah, we don't want none of that. All right, I'm going to do a very quick event. We're going to start it and we're going to fail it, and it lets us proceed the storyline for some reason, because reasons. And then I'm at the event where we save or kill Dana, so we're going to need to close this out very soon.
Yeah, once this event closes, it's probably about 3 minutes before he gets to the decision for Dana. So
Yeah. So donate right now.
Yes. We are running out of time, and so is Dana.
Unfortunately, she often runs out of time. But you can save her, Lemur. Alright, I'm done with Dream Teller. And the next event is Star-Crossed Lovers, where we have to take care of either Escad or Dana. There she is, beautiful cat lady, walking away. We don't want to see her die. Are we murdering the jerk horse who hurts our lovely harpy lady? No.
I don't think Gilbert is in this route.
He
He
is.
is.
Oh, he is?
He is. We will
Briefly.
see Gilbert. Fortunately, the event where we sell lamps to Dudbears is in every category. And that's a fun one, even though it is a dialogue one. The jerk horse does appear, Arflenier. Just near the end.
Yeah, we've still got to do the Faerie's Light, or in the remaster, Spirit's Light.
Ascad is attacking Dana. She's scared. She just wants all the viewers at Speedrun Ragnarok to save her life. But there's like a minute left. And she's not sure if she's gonna make it. I'm not sure if she's gonna make it either. I don't know. This is where we learn a lot about the storyline for Faerie. By the way. Matilda and Erwin are lovers. But Erwin's a demon. And this is Lemur's job. And I'm gonna kill Dana.
So
Yeah,
the name of
coming
the quest
into-
that Phonis is on, Star-Crossed Lovers, gives a kind of hint at the nature of the story of Faerie Percent, because that's sort of famously associated with Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, Matilda and Erwin are, you know, she's got a crush on him, it's reciprocated, and that can kind of give you a hint as to a little bit about the ending of the story if you remember your Shakespeare.
Should I soft lock the game real fast just to try and buy time?
You can certainly try.
I think I can do it. Let's see. I might have to reset my game.
Oh,
What
you're
about
going
these
for the stairs soft lock?
Yeah, let's see if I can soft lock on the staircase here.
There is no need. We have just
Oh.
received that $20 donation from Lemur. Dana is saved.
Nice.
Woo! And I didn't soft lock while trying to, so that's good. I don't have to reset the game.
I appreciate you trying to buy me time. The code was not coming through on my phone. That's why I was so quiet there, because I was like, wait, where is it? Where is it?
Oh, that explains it. I'm like, this is Lemur's job, but he's being awfully quiet.
And as an extra treat, I will, since we are saving Dana, I will take Dana to the final Faerie boss fight, so that I can blame her when that fight goes south for me.
And I won't. But I'll take Niccolo. Because why not? Because I like Niccolo.
Can get some quick Selva skips with Dana and your team.
So I need to not go down on this. I'm going to join Dana, which I've never done before.
Now we get to see the Escad fight.
And the cutscenes that come with Dana being alive. Alright, so our new boss strategy, Counter-Strike. I just realized we haven't used this yet.
Ah,
This
yeah,
guy
yeah.
has STs.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never
he
seen
does.
an ST on this fight.
When you fight Escad, you get some STs.
Interesting.
But yeah, you see
So-
Phonis is going for Counter-Strike here. So this is an ability we learned very early on in the game.
In the jungle.
Way back in the jungle, and now we're just using it. So essentially, you see he's putting out this defending move, and when the enemy hits it, he hits the enemy back, countering them, and it does either 6 or 8 times damage, depending on the weapon you have. So he has the sword, so he's getting a 6-time multiplier to his damage there. This just chunks enemies down in the late game. So you're going to start seeing it a little bit more as we come into some of the ending dungeons. He's probably going to use a couple counter strats. Well, the ending dungeon he will. That fight's a big one, and then there's going to be another boss fight you see a little bit later on.
So we get a lot more dialogue here with Dana being alive. I'm not familiar with this scene, so I don't really know what's going on with her being alive. Are you?
So the big clash here was, Escad hates Irwin, wants Irwin and the fairies to essentially just be killed and leave the world, whereas Dana is a bit more sympathetic to their cause and, to Irwin and Matilda's relationship. So you kind of see she's talking there with Matilda a little bit more about like what's going on with Irwin and also her taking down Escad. If Escad's alive there, it's a little bit sadder because we do kill Dana, and he's essentially tells Matilda, yeah, I just killed our childhood friend, so sorry.
She gets over it pretty quickly, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Flowerling, please.
And Dana is still in my party. See, I didn't even know that she stays with you.
Yeah, she will leave your party after this cutscene. Then you have to pick her up
okay.
again. Yeah. She'll be right there in the room, so it'll look like she's still in your party, but she's not.
Long live Cat Girls! Alright, so we are starting the final event for the Faerie storyline, but we are not going to be doing it yet, because in addition to completing one of the 3 main stories, we also need to place 18 lands on our map in order to trigger the endgame dungeon. So we're going to do a couple of quick side events to meet those requirements.
Right, yeah. We're kind of doing this right now because we want to get the artifact that contains the last dungeon. Because we want to get that placed early on, so then it's, a bit lower level by the time we actually go to do it. So Phonis is going to get this artifact, place it down, then he's going to start placing some other artifacts and doing some other side quests, building up our level, getting us a little bit more damage, and making us as efficient as we can be before we go into the final dungeon.
And most
Final dungeon of the
importantly,
storyline.
buying more weapons.
Yes. We will have another weapon buy coming up.
Escad's being a jumpy boy with me.
Yeah, that sketch was not good to me. That was bad. He ST'd, he jumped around.
And Dana was
He was,
helping too much.
I think that guy was having fun. Drop the brooch. Then broken doll.
See, we have quite a few artifacts left to place yet. I think we only have 13 on the map right now. Yeah, 13 artifacts on the map, and we got to get to 18. So
We have to place. Yeah, we have to place 5 more. Yep. Yeah,
So
it's a
that's
very
the-
efficiently routed map as far as getting through the storyline is concerned. But then we have to throw in a couple other things that are very quick.
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the run, way back in the beginning, we talked about, what are the quickest artifacts to get in the game. The artifacts you can get from this quest are some of the quickest as well. It's the Infernal Doll quest here takes like 2.5 minutes, something like that. And
Yeah,
it can get you 1 to 2 artifacts, depending on what you've already unlocked in the game. So we're doing this quest solely just to get the artifacts because it's a really quick and easy way to do it.
That Lizardon did not want to approach me.
No.
He just hung around the top of the map. This is definitely a map I'm sure everybody gets lost in casually playing when they're 10 or however old.
If you don't follow the exact right path, the map just kind of stops you from proceeding, and you gotta go all the way back and reset.
You cannot get to the end if you don't go the right way. But there's only 2 fights when you go the right way before the final boss here, which is just a bunch of normal enemies.
Yeah, we like to say the true final boss of this storyline is the item collection after the fight.
A little bit.
Because these guys can all drop money, so sometimes
I didn't hit the
just...
polter box.
Oh,
He just hung out in
and
the
that's
back.
all money. Yep, this is the real final boss here.
All money. That is bad luck. They have like a 50% chance to drop money, and they all did.
Oh, wait a minute.
The friends. Alright. I have another event with no combat coming up, but I gotta drop a bunch of artifacts, so I'm gonna make sure I do this correctly.
Yeah, so this is going to be the last big artifact dump. There will be another one to place after this, but this is the last big dump that Phonis has to do in the run. He's doing this in a specific order. 1 is to share mana levels with Leucemia to make the final dungeon a good bit weaker. And 2 is to up the land level before he places the Firefly lamp. So like we did with Popolta, we upped the level so we can get the tier 4 Lorent weapons.
I let go of L1.
Uh-oh. Well, this is a pretty one. Let's watch it anyways.
Yeah. Oops. That's what happens if you don't hold L1. You get to watch the artifact animations. That one was pretty quick, though, so it's really not a big deal.
One of the faster ones.
And I'm just making it even because Racco did one.
Yeah, but I did mine on purpose.
Yeah. All right, we can watch. I'll put down the Sword of Mana and watch the whole thing. That's the longest one. I'll do that on purpose. That one's pretty too. That one's very special. All right, here's Gilbert for those of you who were looking for him. We are gonna help him sell Monique's lamps, and we're gonna learn to speak the Dudbear language, or something like that. And then we're gonna spend all their money.
This is definitely a quest many people either have very fond or not so fond memories of, depending on how good you were at this language.
I remember having a notebook filled out with all of the translations and working through it with my cousins and trying to figure this out.
And nobody really likes Gilbert. Through like his story throughout the game and various events is that he's just constantly trying to woo different women characters and unsuccessfully. He's always trying to be the centaur of attention.
Whoops! I already gagged because of that joke. That was funny. And
I apologize for
Talk
nothing.
to him again. It's fine. It's fine. Dub. Haha. All right.
Yeah, you gotta talk to the public here, learn the language, and then pick the correct options to talk to the dub bear. Otherwise, you'll gag like you just saw, and then you have to reset and relearn the language again.
It's okay, I messed up the junkyard fight too.
Sorry, I'm trying to talk to dead bears.
You're good.
I'll be quiet.
We're about
Be the
2
commentary for the
weapons
rest
here.
of the Faerie's Light.
Yeah, my
Only speaking
commentary
in
is
Dutch
great.
for the rest of the run, alright?
The commentary is great for Faeries Light. You want me to translate the rest of the run into Dudbear? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I want to see it. I think you'll have a good job.
Da gak da da dud da da gak baboo dud baboo dub da ba 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 da 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 da. All right, and that's it for Dudbear language. I'm gonna go turn this into Gilbert. He's gonna be like, "You spent all the money, but that doesn't matter. My love doesn't need money to keep her shop open here. She'll be fine because we're in love." And I guess she is fine with it, but I kind of feel like she needs the money. But we took it and bought weapons with it because we need them.
Yeah, she said she doesn't need the money, but she's also disappointed that no one buys her lamp. So, I mean, there's positive and negative to it.
This event's it's something because I swear she's talking about like moving and like opening up the lamp shop somewhere else because she doesn't sell enough lamps. And then Gilbert's like, "Let's go somewhere else." And then she's like, "But I love it here. The Dudbears love my lamps," and it's because we just sold them to them, but they're not going to buy more lamps. And she didn't get any money from these lamps because we used it. I don't know.
Did you make sure?
And
to
then she
pick
breaks up
Nick?
with them. No, I forgot about picking up Nick. I'll go back in and get him. I forgot
It's
I was
just the-
doing that. It's just autopilot, all right? I'll
Yeah,
go
this
get
is
Nick.
definitely one of the autopilot
Yeah.
splits.
You do this, like I said earlier, you do this in every single category. I'll go get him before I finish the event. Let's go. Let's go get Nick. He needs to be here for this.
Only a screen away.
Yeah, he needs to be here for this. We do have to start another event to pick up Nick. He happens to be in Lumina, which is why I wanted to take him. I will not be doing his event, but I'll bring him to the end of the game, because why not? Nicolo's Business Unusual Part 3. Come on, Nick. Let's go on a trip. He never gets to see Snakeway.
I believe at one point we routed Nick into all events for Leucemia at one point.
Just to do Salvo Skip?
Yeah, we didn't have this setups yet.
Oh. I had to find my own setup because I didn't like yours.
And also, I'm pretty sure we took him to like an event afterwards.
Oh, there's more Dudbear. Hold on.
Well,
Da-da. I don't know what she's saying. Oh, I missed it all. Da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. That's something like that. They said they really love her lamps. And now, when you do this, you get the artifact for the underworld. Because she's just holding it.
Yep.
For
for
some reason.
this is the only area you can get this artifact from. One of the few artifacts that's just gated like this.
For some reason, Monique just has the underworld in her pocket. Alright, we're gonna fly away to the final event for the Faerie storyline, but not the final event for the speedrun. This one's long, has a lot of fights. I'm gonna do my best to perform well at them. And I'll let Lemur talk about all the fun little strategies and things that I'm gonna try to do.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, the coolest end stage. It's just a gauntlet of fights, one after the other. So, Phonis is going to come in here, and he's just going to start making his way through. He picked up some gold weapons in Lumina. We didn't really touch on that. So now he has the weapons he's going to carry with him through the end of the game, and they're going to be dealing a lot more damage. And he kind of needs that because Leucemia is a good little bit more tanky than some of the other areas. So you're going to see him pretty much utilize all of his, all of the tech that he kind of showed throughout the run. So there you're seeing power canceling. You're going to see some jump canceling coming up pretty soon too. And there's also a few spin setups. So it's a really cool final area because it really ties together pretty much every strategy you've used in the run.
It's also a cool set piece because the Leucemia stage is taking place on and inside the sort of remains of a dead worm that died because it ate a volcano.
Yeah. Fighting on the carcass of the dead worm. They talk about that a little bit in the text leading up to Heaven's Gate before you get the artifact, but yeah.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we have just reached $4,000.
Let's
Thank
go.
Hey, let's
Heck
go.
yeah.
5Z saying, I don't like uneven numbers. Let's make this an even 4K with a $74 donation. So thank you so much.
Good job,
Thank
everyone.
you very much.
So yeah, you're gonna see some areas where Phonis is doing setups for the spin attack too. Instead of just like running in and hitting spins a few times, he's actually like knocking the Narcissus away. Oh, now we got Selva skip. So we talked about clipping through NPCs before, and there, boom, right away. Normally, you got to talk to Selva. Selva's like, "Hey, are you a chicken? Do you want to leave?" And you got to say no, and then Selva will fly away. It takes like 6-7 seconds, something like that. But if you run up and catch the good angle, you can just zip right past Selva and skip all that dialogue. It's a bit easier with Niccolo or Dana in your party, because if you run up to Selva, run back, you can use Niccolo to force a clip, which is a little weird when you have multiple characters kind of over top of each other. It'll force you to walk over Selva. But Phonis decided just to YOLO it there and got it right away.
I've never done it with this NPC, so I was worried that using this character, I might mess it up because their hitboxes are a little different, so the lineup might be different. But I nailed it, so we're good. It's just kind of muscle memory.
Timing you got to do to it. Yeah, at that point, just rely on what you know.
Yeah, clipping through NPCs is a required functionality, as Mecha's saying in the chat. Whoops, I thought I killed him already, but I started reading. There is an event where they do purposely gang up on you in the desert, and you have to clip through the enemies, so
yeah,
kind of intentional. I'm not sure they intended for it to be abused in the way we do it there, but it's fine. We also use it in the Mindas ruins when those flowerlings are getting in Reiko's way. If they're walking at us, we can walk and kind of wiggle through them as well and make up for them being jerks.
Yeah, it'd be nice to find a few more spots where clipping can be used to that effectiveness, but the devs really thought about a lot of stuff, so they've killed a few loading zones where we like to do clips, unfortunately. So even if you get the clip, sometimes it doesn't do much for the speedrun. But this is one of the few times where it actually does really help us out.
We've tried to find them. Alright, we're going to do one more Selva skip. This one has a pretty consistent setup for. There we go. It was a little slow, but we got it.
I didn't get it immediately.
I like using my lunge attacks here a lot, which is totally a thing in this game that we never talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of mentioned it with jump cancel. The uppercut you do afterwards is one of the plunge attacks. So there's 3 standard plunge attacks that you can do with the sword. There's the thrusting plunge, which is double tap forward. Then there's this jumping plunge, where you do tap forward, tap back, and your character jumps up from above. And then there's the uppercut, which is just holding down right, or maybe doing a little quarter circle with the analog stick. And then you can do that uppercut attack. These normally are meant to be like combo finishers for when you're doing like your normal attack combos. You can then lead into, one of these plunge attacks. But we typically don't do that. Instead, we'll use them to reposition enemies. So knocking an enemy closer to another enemy so we can get a spin set up. Or if we, if enemies are getting on us too much, sometimes we'll use that to like break up the mob a little bit to give us more room. But yeah, they're a pretty useful tool, but it's kind of selective where we choose to use them and not to use them.
Alright, I don't know what I'm doing all of a sudden. We'll just spin.
Yeah, when in doubt, spin it out.
Yeah, sometimes you go to set up and you're like just below or just above a hitbox, and then you start missing things, and yeah, you just spin. Just stop trying at that point and
Spin is nice because it comes out really, really quickly and hits everything around you. So if you're in an odd position to an enemy, you don't have to worry about lining back up to get that last hit in. Sometimes you can just do a spin and hit them even though they're in an odd position.
Alright, I'm going to the final boss fight of the Faerie storyline, which is either kind of like the Boreal Hound earlier. It's either Oh, Erwin's not here. That was weird. Or
Oh,
did we kill
Escad.
them?
Yeah.
Escad. Yeah.
Normally,
He's
if
dead.
you side with Escad, he's there and
The
it
world
dies
is my
now.
cash cow. I won't let anyone destroy it. This is why I'm
Oh,
on
yeah.
Niccolo.
Niccolo's great, man.
Alright, I'm gonna switch to the hammer here. And I'm gonna
So
put
you
counter
get a
strike onto the
7?
leader. Go ahead.
$7.77 donation from Windbliss. We're at the home stretch and there's more to see, so I composed this haiku. Meow. Time is running out. More donations to be had. Meet the incentives. Cat Dragon appreciates all the Valkyries do. I'm not related, though, to the Muskats. That Silver Tusk seems shiny. 100% maybe? Not really sure what that's about, but... Oh, that's right. That's for Phantasy Star Forge. Yeah. And we are running out of time on the My Time at Porsche events. We have the character name and workshop names have those contests still in place. So
I got a synchro kill on Erwin.
Oh, I didn't see the synchro. I was gonna say that was a pretty slick Irwin fight. So
I was
Phonis-
very scared that Nick would mess it up.
yeah. So we talked about blind spots with Boreal Hound. That's what we tried to do for the Irwin fight there. If you just run straight, then 9 times out of 10, Irwin will just kind of jump into you, and then you'll immediately be in this blind spot. And then you just need to nail all the power cancels, and you make him pretty much a joke of a final boss. The scary thing is, though, both the runners have brought a partner character with them to this dungeon, and they can mess up the blind spot because they can walk over, hit Irwin out of your attack, or, you know, even worse, use a plunge and knock him away, force you to reline up with the blind spot. So that's a big reason why we don't take partner characters into this fight.
And if Erwin gets away from being blind spotted, he very likely will start chaining very long special attacks together,
Yeah.
which are really hard to interrupt. You have to time your counter ST like perfectly. Which reminds me, I need to do equip blammo before I continue. I'm just not equipping STs today. And yeah, then he'll just chain them together, and if you get hit by more than one of them, you could die and have to redo the fight. That was very confusing when Escad was not there, I'll tell you. So usually there's a little scene with Escad. Maybe is Dana faster? She's not.
There's plenty of text with Dana.
She's not faster.
So that long ST you're about to see on my screen.
Yeah.
Is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ST chaining with Irwin is very annoying because he almost always will do 2 back to back, and you can sometimes interrupt, but getting in between the 2 is really hard.
It's a very small window to interrupt.
Yeah, it's not like most troll bosses where it's like, oh, they can do 2 STs one to the other, you know, like kind of randomly. It seems like he almost always goes for double STs.
Yeah. He will if you let him. At least we get to see some cool ST animations. You're not wrong. They're really cool. They're just really slow. So it hurts you when you're going fast. And the ending cutscenes for the storyline, the 3 main storylines, are the only times during a speedrun where you don't need to press buttons. So I am taking a 5-minute break here while we watch some things happen in the underworld.
Yeah, this would be a good spot for if there's anything else to say or donation or something like that.
Well, still waiting on the My Time at Porsche, but we did mention that there were some prizes. We've got a few listed here. We have a limited edition Psychomancer pin from Take This, Dragon Quest framed oil painting by Lady Ariana. That looks
Whoa.
absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. A vinyl decal of Hollow Knight of the Little Ghost, and a Steam key for VVVVVV. Thanks to Margaret Ann for that. And that is, of course, alongside the week-long grand prizes, that amazing Transrite Game Boy Advance, courtesy of Casual Geek Dave, and the Gears of War board game donated by Take This. As somebody who does Game Boy Advance restorations myself, that is an amazing, absolutely, truly a fantastic custom model. So if you want in on that, you know what to do. You don't need me to say it, but I'll say it anyway. Get your donations in.
So yeah, with that, both runners have come to the end of the Faerie storyline. They vanquished Irwin and sent him down to the underworld. As soon as we did, we went back to Gato and we found out that Matilda has also passed away. And now we're kind of seeing Matilda and Irwin finally have their conversation in the underworld. You know, Matilda's kind of saying it's okay for them to, want to be together and want to interact, and Irwin saying he's a demon and that, that's not his purpose in life or their purpose in life, and that's not how things should be. And, Irwin just kind of leaves Matilda there. It's a pretty tragic ending where Matilda and him are finally able to probably be together in a way where other people aren't interfering, and he just ignores it and leaves. %, is kind of the everyone dies category of Legend of Mana.
Except for Dana or Escad. You get to pick one person who lives.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's faster to pick it.
Yeah.
Escad dies too if you don't take him with you, so you have to actually go to the jungle to save him. So if we were to do the real speedrun route, then everyone dies.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. He does die. Like, that's the Irwin fight starting.
Except for your Dana, because you brought her with you. So did my Dana just die then?
No, your Dana came and talked to you when you went back to Dana. She was the one who informed you that Matilda had died.
Right. Arf said just Reiko, so I'm just making sure that my Dana did live and I didn't leave her behind after all this.
You found a new way to kill everyone.
All right, Nicola, you gotta go, man. We can't do this anymore. All right, so
yeah, Phonis has now entered the home, and he's going to start the second to last event. So this is the event that not Little Sorcerers, but the one that's going to trigger after Little Sorcerers is the event that we needed to trigger to get to the end game. So now that we have 18 artifacts and the Faerie storyline completed, we will now be able to do Cage of Dreams, which is a short little event that will give us access to the last stage of the game.
Sproutlings are all talking about how when they die, they join the tree. One of these Sproutlings passed away, and we don't. They want us to go and save his soul or something.
Well, I believe Numazak has him trapped in a dream right now. The carpet man that you saw there has him trapped in a dream, and he's not letting him join with the mana tree. So if you were to a carpet or a mirror, I don't know what he is.
I thought he was a stained glass mirror. Is he a rug now?
Except
he
does flap in some of the Jumi storylines.
Oh yeah, he does flap.
He's an area rug. He really brings the room together.
He could be a magic mirror.
He's just a very animated stained glass mirror. Okay, is he a rug? Don't tell me he's a rug. I wish we had Diddle and Capella in here. You want to talk about some? What are they? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around Diddle. Boy,
pretty sure he's like a tadpole who rides a music box. he's only a kid.
I always thought he was like a short old man that was carrying around his box.
He's 14 years old. That's why he writes a letter to his parents about wanting to come home.
That is another really, really great thing about the design of this game is there's so much unique sprite work going on and so many wonderful characters throughout the whole game, even though we only see a small percentage of them in any of the single storyline events.
If you want to see them all, tune into my stream tomorrow. where I get every achievement in the game, or don't.
Where you try.
Where I
You
lose
get
a
a
run
chest plate
4
then.
hours in to bad luck. It's worth it. It's a good time.
So yeah, Phonis just finished up in Cage of Dreams. He's setting the Sproutling free, and he is getting the Sword of Mana artifact.
All right, I'm not gonna hold L1. I was already holding L1. Only one hand on the controller. We'll watch this animation. We'll watch the mana tree come to life.
I think L1ing this one artifact saves like 30 seconds or something like that.
It's huge. This
Yeah.
one has its own cutscene. It's not just on the map. But I said we'd watch it. And there we go. Onto the tree.
Yep, this is the final stage in the run. This is how you trigger the credits, and it is one of the strongest areas in the game. So we kind of talked a little bit before about how all other areas have, different mana levels, and how we construct the map makes, different monster strengths and different difficulties in each area. We don't really have that control over the tree. It has maxed out mana of everything. So the only thing that really matters is land level, the distance from home, and how many artifacts are placed before it. We have to place 18 artifacts before we can get it, so it's always going to be placed 19th, and then we just got to try to get it close to home. So this is the stage that you'll probably see Phonis try to do a couple more counters on normal fights, because there are some beefy like dragons and other enemies in this dungeon. So getting the counter strike off really, really helps out.
I'll be trying to counter-strike just about everything. Except maybe this Sky Dragon.
It doesn't always work on the Sky Dragon.
It could have worked. It's not worth trying.
Yeah, you saw that Sky Dragon himself took 4 power cancels to get down. And even with the counter, that Land Dragon still had a little bit of health left over, so he's really got to go for the maximum damage potential if he wants to clear this place efficiently.
That's like the one fight I was thinking of earlier when I talked about your levels. If you happen to get some extra levels, because you just get bad luck on XP drops, you can kill that fight with a counter strike. It's unlikely though. Alright, why am I picking that up? I missed.
Yeah, this Basilisk is a jerk. He
It's
is
horrible.
in this tiny little area. He has a flanking attack, and it can be hard to hit him sometimes.
Yeah. As I happily showcased.
What's
got a
even
small
more
hitbox.
annoying is when you use your counter strike, sometimes like the counter will go off, but his position is moved so far behind you that you don't get the damage from the counter. You at least avoid the flatten, but you still have to deal with them afterwards.
And here's our Chocobo!
Here he is,
And there he goes.
and bye-bye. I believe that is the only Chocobo you see in any of these single storylines categories. You
The
see
only
some more.
Chocobo you see... Yeah? Do you in any? No, you see Chocobos at the beach, right?
You see them there,
Yeah.
but only if you're doing the buried treasure, a different quest line. I think it's Siren Song. Only if you're doing a quest line that you only need to do in all events.
Or it's not.
Right.
What it's worth. The category exists. Just because you don't play it doesn't mean it exists.
One of these days.
It's fine, you don't need to. Did you call me heartless? Arf is just calling me out here.
So the major theme of the Legend of Mana stories, like all of the events and the major storylines, is about corruption and, undoing corruption and restarting again pure. So that's why we're going to kill the Mana Goddess, because the Mana Tree and the Mana Goddess have been corrupted. So in order to fix things, we need to kill a god, essentially.
We're gonna kill her dark side.
Yeah.
It's fine. There's a good side to her. We're leaving that alone. Lore. Reasons. And that's why I had to equip Blammo. It's a lot of
This
XP.
fight on its own is all the reason to equip Blammo.
Just gonna take the level up and let that go away.
Yeah, you got a pretty bad spread there. When you have the hammer movement speed, it's just not even worth trying to pick up that XP sometimes. It's just gets too far apart.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned that the heavier weapons make you move slower.
Yeah. So you kind of saw the hammer has more damage than the sword does, but the sword has a lot more movement speed and can also attack faster. So you kind of make a lot of trade-offs when picking your weapon type. Also, Counter-Strike wise, the sword only gets a ×6 multiplier, whereas the hammer gets a ×8 multiplier. So that's why you're seeing Phonis do so much damage now with Counter-Strike, is that he's got that extra, that extra multiplier added on to his hammer.
Alright, so this is the final boss. Time will be on the 5th Counter-Strike in this category.
Something like that. The final hit on the
hit.
goddess. Yeah.
I think it'll be our 5th
When our
Counter-Strike.
hit point bar goes to 0.
One. Oh,
And here's the
I
SC.
only got 1 on the first cycle, which is not great.
Yeah, you want to have it normally 3 if you can.
3. Not positioned right.
Yeah, the goddess is
Walked into
very
it,
jumpy.
and time.
GG.
Thank you.
Very good job.
And
I'll
I'll
just
be there in
get-
just a few minutes. Just killed the chocobo.
Alright, you just gotta do the final 4 fights before the boss. My Grey Ox did not let me Counter-Strike him, so good luck. Gotta clear the text box and let the credits run, and hopefully Reiko gets a better goddess. Mine wasn't bad, but hopefully you get a better one. Thanks for the GGs, everyone.
Yeah, real good run from Phonis. What was your final time?
My timer that I have running, I got a 138.13.
Nice. Considering the
That's
saving Dana.
about
and all
what
that.
we see over here. Yeah.
Yeah, with the extra few minutes from Dana, I'll take
Yeah.
it. Under 140, we'll take it.
Ooh, how did I get stunned instead of counterattack that basilisk? That's
Because
weird.
the Basilisk hates everyone.
Because Basilisk troll.
While we wait for Reiko to finish up, I just want to let everybody know we are running out of time for the My Time at Porsche name and workshop name polls. Do make sure you get those donations in, because I believe that is the next run. So
We got one more fight before the goddess on Rako's side. Clearing through all these camps.
Do you want to attack me, dragon? Oh, of course you do it when I forget to counterattack.
Yeah. Shouldn't have said anything. That Tyrannos loves to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes the enemies aren't aggro enough, and it's actually your downfall.
Yeah, when enemies just walk away from you, it's one of the most tilting things in this game.
Oh, do you want to explain the eclipse in the Mana Goddess fight for chat to pay attention to while I'm fighting?
Oh yeah. So you saw that the Mana Goddess did a ST when Phonis was fighting her, which she'll do after typically every few counters or every set amount of time she runs around for a bit. But you also have a timer going on with the eclipse in the background. Once this moon becomes completely eclipsed, the goddess will instantly go in and do her super move. Even on top of her special technique, she has kind of this ultimate destruction move she'll do where she just shoots lasers all over the map. And if it hits you, you're pretty near dead. I think you're going to barely survive it in this category. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that the whole thing is like, oh, you got to kill the goddess quickly, otherwise you're just going to get completely murked by her ability.
Yeah, we're quite low level, so if that happens, it's not good. You just need a couple more hits.
And
More?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh. Just keeps juking you.
Oh
You
my
want to show
goodness.
these clips, right?
She's
Die.
a typical
GG.
There you go.
There we go.
GG. GG, Reiko.
Yeah, she, she jumps around, and that can sometimes jump out of the hitbox of the Counter-Strike thing, and it's a little random, so that was about average RNG for me for the Mana Goddess fight, which is not great.
All right, GG.
Yeah.
Thanks for racing me, Reiko. Thanks for having us. Thank you, Lemur, for doing some great commentary. Thank you, everyone in the
Thanks for having
chat
me.
for the conversation and the good lucks and the GGs. Definitely check out. I guess me and Reiko are the ones who stream the game the most. So check us out. Some of our other, I know we said we rerouted all the categories this year and everything's gotten a lot faster. Well, if in the Dragon percent, which is our fastest, we just found a 4-minute time save not too long ago. So that's super exciting. You should check out Lemur's world record on that. It is awesome. Like I said, I'm going to be probably streaming again tomorrow. I do platinum percent, so I'm working on a goal to get that done in under 9 hours. Hopefully I get that done pretty soon before my baby's born and I don't have time to do long runs like that. So yeah, I appreciate your time. And if you want to learn the game, like I said, it's a very easy to enter game, and we love having people.
Yeah, the
our
Mana
community is not
speedrunning community
huge.
is super welcoming and helpful, and we're constantly cheering each other on and helping
Yeah.
each other out. It's amazing.
And
Check out the speedrun page. Check out our Discord. We're always looking for new runners and people to teach the game to.
and there's so much more in this game we didn't even get to show in here.
And thank you all so
So
much for all
much.
the donations and everything as well. And keep on
That's
donating.
it.
There are a lot more incentives. There's still another day of great speedrunning coming up. There's a lot of fun stuff. So do stick around and watch some of the upcoming runs too.
Yep, we hit 4,000 in this game. That was awesome, and it's for a great cause. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that will do it for us.
Especially because I'm stuttering in the credits again, so we're good.
All right. Where can we find you guys on the interwebs?
I'm usually
Twitch
just in my
TV.
room.
I'm in my basement, my office. Twitch TV/Phonis.
And
That's where I'll do all my streaming.
yeah, twitch.tv/Racco_Dactylus. That's where I do all of my streaming as well.
And Lemur?
Twitch.tv/hi, I'm Lemur. Occasionally I stream, but I'm more so YouTube uploader, so check out my YouTube channel at Lemur or Lemur Speedruns.
All right. Well, that actually will do it for me as well. I am Code Indigo, Twitch TV/Code Indigo. I am going to be restarting streaming very soon. I've been on hiatus for a little while. But we do have a lot of great speedruns left here for Speedrun Ragnarok 2023 in support of Take This. So thank you so much to everybody. So glad we hit 4,000 during one of my favorite games. And stick around because my time at Porsche is up next.
Thank you, Code Indigo.
Thank you.
You've been great. Good luck,
Appreciate that.
everyone else.
Yep.